Brakthia Howell, Brakthia Awashai, Brakthia Howell, Brakthia Awashai, Brakthia Howell, Brakthia Howell, Bashim Yawashai, Bahashem, Rikal Kudash, the blindness of the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled America to be the New Venezuela. Alright? The inspiration for the show comes from the fact that, as you can see, well, if you've been watching the shows and watching the lessons, beat for beat, these devils have been going to accord what the Spirit has been allowing brothers to bring out. The fact that ultimately that the stock market would shoot the fuck up crazy. It did. It bounced back enormously. The most it ever did since 1933, which is excellent. That's only going to lead to one thing: hyperinflation, which is going to lead to a digital currency, which is what we want. They're already speaking about it. Their lessons to position brothers, man, through the grace and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai the water for waking us up to that avenue of income, and position brothers to make huge profits off that situation, that once in a lifetime situation. So the brothers that did it and got their blessings and are learning about it, excellent. All right. Now back to the topic at hand, that America is going to be the new Venezuela. And why do I say that? Because inflation leads to one thing. Inflation is going to lead to higher interest. The Fed's buying up everything is going to lead to higher interest rates, which is going to lead to lower bond prices. Lower bond prices is going to lead to huge investors try to invest in other things, in other commodities. And normally this is oil and precious metals, such as gold and silver. Right? So the brothers that are holding on to their silver and gold, that's going to be good because, Slakia, I skipped a part. Hyperinflation is going to lead, yes, all right, hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is going to lead to higher interest rates. Higher interest rates is going to lead to lower bond prices. Lower bond prices are going to lead to investors not trusting bonds but going to commodities. This was the same beat that happened in Venezuela. When heavy sanctions was issued upon Venezuela, their currency had to be hyperinflated. Everything was super expensive because they couldn't import and export things. They were heavy in crude oil. They have one of the largest oil reserves in the world. And guess what happened? The oil price skyrocketed, all right? The precious metal market over there skyrocketed, all right? Because people, at that time, look, when money is overvalued and you have a lot of money, as somebody that's extremely rich, the most thing you want to do is secure your wealth. And if you can't secure your wealth in the currency, then you're going to find other means to secure your wealth in. A lot of people are going to suffer. A lot of people are going to suffer. Because with the power of social media, words travel quickly. People get in pandemics, quote unquote pandemics, people get in riot mode very easily. All right, because whatever the media says, they do beat for beat, and they spread fear, gossip like nothing. So when that hyperinflation hits, you're gonna see a run on gold, a run on silver. This is why most people that's trying to buy silver now can't get it. They only that's why most people are trying to purchase buy silver and gold right now. It's kind of hard to get. Most of these guys are only buying it themselves. They're not necessarily selling it because some of them see what's going to happen. Some of them see what's to come. All right, so that's going to get hyperinflated. Don't be surprised if gas goes up to $100 a barrel. As I've been saying through the Spirit for a long time, when I told brothers to invest in that situation with gas is going to skyrocket because that's what's going to happen in a situation where stuff gets hyperinflated. I can't tell you when this is going to happen. I can only tell you this is going to happen in the near future because this is a part of the hell and tribulation that's going to come upon America. All right, this place is not going to last forever. This dollar is not going to last forever. This fiat currency is not going to last forever, man. And that's for RT if you're watching. Brothers put together that video. RT is watching this. If you're watching, well, there you go. Just know that your system is coming to a end. Now concerning that situation over there in Venezuela, they weren't eating each other. Okay, that was all. That was hype. It wasn't that crazy. They didn't resort to cannibalism. However, it was really bad out there, man. All right, it was really fucking bad out there, and the people that of the lower that created a huge gap between the rich and the poor. Okay, and that's what you see here in America already. You see that this destruction of the quote unquote middle class, and a huger and huger gap being hit between the wealthy and the poor. All right, and now they're gonna even try to cut off 1%. So the 1% people out there, look, man, they're talking about wealth tax. So even these are you can't the Ecclesiasticus, the 12th chapter, man. Never trust your enemy. These Edomites are willing to turn on the other rich. They're trying to create even a wealth gap between the 1%. They're trying to create a 1% within the 1% by saying, look, if you have a lot of money, we're just going to tax the hell out of you and take your money. And that's the narrative that they push on the news. Look, man, rich people, if you're rich, it's not wicked to be rich. You know that if you're poor, you're going to have the poor. Yahushua said that. He said the poor will always be with you. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6 tells us that, the Most High killeth, he makes it alive. He also goes on to say that he created poor and rich. They try to make it look like if you're rich, you're an evil person. That's not necessarily true, man, all right? Because let's take, for example, this devil, Jeff Bezos, right? Amazon guy again. Let's use him as an example. First, having this guy use an example. He came from nothing. He was an entrepreneur. He made it the quote-unquote American way through capitalism. And they like, oh, no, let's tax him. He's fucking rich, and he's just a rich. But look how many fucking jobs he gave you people, man. Look how many jobs. Look how many goods he's providing you with Amazon. The Amazon website. Which, by the way, Amazon, everything that they sell at Amazon, they make no profit from it, And that's a tactic. So the tactic is they make Amazon makes most of its profits through selling domains, I believe. It's through some sort of web trafficking, but in terms of selling products online, they don't make any profits off that. And the reason you do that is you have the cheapest thing on the market. You just you knock out your competitors. If they can't compete with you, you eat the loss. You eat the fact that you're not making any money on selling anything, but you're killing your competitors and you're making monies in other ways. So this guy Bezos is very tactical. By the way, one more thing about that, Jeff Bezos, he's in. This is not something that's publicly traded, but he was ahead of the curve. He knew about Uber before Uber got big and all this type of stuff. And guess what? He's also investing. He's investing something called Blue Origin. Now that's not something that's publicly traded, but guess what that has to do with? That has to do with taking rich people out of space, man. So you see how the scriptures are beat for beat telling us how that right there proves that there's no free will. All right, if there was free will, prophecies could be upsetted. So this guy here it is. This guy that when it comes to technology, he's always 2-3 years ahead of everybody else. He's investing in something called Blue Origin, which is to do with space exploration, taking the wealthy out there, just like they're showing you Elysium and all these types of things. And that's only fulfilling the book of Amos, man. And that's why, he suggested the publicly traded space stock, whatever. But yeah, so look, this thing's about to get real out here, man. Expect the price of everything to skyrocket. All right. Again, Donald Trump is shaking up that bottle. I know a lot of people are eager to spend. A lot of people want to go in the club, and people want to go in the club and shake their ass, and niggas want to go in there and bag. So the economy is set for enormous boom. All right. And again, that boom is going to only lead to one thing: hard fucking times, man. Hard times. I'm talking about crazy hyperinflation, man. Crazy hyperinflation, And in that day, again, America is going to be very similar to Venezuela. And they shot themselves in the foot because they're cutting off ties with a lot of people. They're burning a lot of bridges, man. All right? Even though a majority of these nations are in debt their damn self, here it is, you have a currency that is severely a currency that has been severely hyperinflated in the form of the US dollar, but it's still doing the best of all these fiat currencies, man. So what that tells you about all these other countries, all right, that their currencies is due to fall, all fitting again with Bible prophecy. That's how come if you look at Russia, man, Russia is set to really rival the United States. I was wondering why Vladimir Putin was being so diplomatic because every time Trump is trying to instigate an arms race, Vladimir Putin didn't take the bait. This dude Vladimir Putin is smart, because guess what? Ronald Reagan increased the arms race, and that's what forced Russia to collapse, because they didn't have the money to keep up with the arms race. You know, they couldn't. Basically, when you increase spending and increase social programs or government funded programs, so that's what the United States is going to do if they want to increase their military budget, which they signed future contracts with Boeing and Raytheon. So you know that military war aspect is inevitable. That's going to keep going up. They have lobbyists in the White House to constantly be getting money. Another thing, the brothers that invested in that made a shit ton of money. But those companies, those pro-war companies, those Lockheed Martins, those Raytheons, they have contracts that bleed the hell out of government spending, and the government also wants to keep issuing out social welfare programs for these people, man. These welfare people and such like that. That's only going to destroy your economy even more. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. All right, so going back to this guy Vladimir Putin, the guy is no fool, man. The guy is very smart. The guy is somebody that he's someone that learns from history. I didn't understand it at the time, but it makes perfect sense now. If you was to try to keep up with America in this arms race, you know, you would repeat your same mistake, and that would be unwise, and that would be very foolish to not learn from your mistakes, right? So what he did instead was they bought a shit ton of gold. They already have a ton of oil, so they have oil and gold. So they're getting ready, man. They're getting ready for this the collapse of a whole bunch of different currencies due to hyperinflation, man. And now in that case, when America is hyperinflated and becoming the next Venezuela, they'll be ready to usurp them, man. They'll be ready to usurp them as the number one superpower, because if you start an arms race again, because all bets are off. All these different treaties, these nuclear treaties, missile treaties, all bets are off the table. If another global arms race starts, and the United States is currency is hyperinflated, the economy is shit, and here you have Russia sitting in a ton of oil and a ton of gold, all right, which they produce their oil at a cheaper price. You can see them they already have a larger landmass. You know, they will be able to keep up, man. All right, I know that the United States makes up 64% of the world's army. All right, that's that teeth that they got, that they use to bully other nations. But look, at the end of the day, the scripture says the feet of it was like the bear. So ultimately, the Russians are gonna be the last leg of the Edomite Empire, not the United States, man. All right, in one way, shape, or form, Russia is gonna be the number one superpower. They're gonna be the one leading the charge against Yahweh Shai, man, after America is destroyed. So the Most High is plotting them and putting them in that situation. And you see how Vladimir Putin, the Most High, is not making this guy do anything foolish. This guy is doing jiu-jitsu and playing 4D chess, man. And he's seen 4 different presidents so far. You know, so this guy, he has experience, man. The Most High, Daniel said it, the Most High is the one that ruleth in the kingdom of men. And I have these different nations playing these war games. As prophets, we just here to report it. Beat for beat what's going on geopolitically. Gear brothers' mind for it and let them know, look, man, the end is coming. And bring out news and information to show, look, what these different nations are doing fit perfectly with biblical prophecy, and they're not acting independent on their own. Proverbs the 16th chapter and the first verse. All right, the Most High is the one that it says the preparation of the heart and the tongue of man is of the Lord. All right, so these are exciting times. You know, these are the brothers that have invested in this truth first and foremost. The apostles, the elders. We're talking about 30 plus years, man. The brothers that came in the 2000s, elders that came in the 2000s and the 90s, 20 plus years, the brothers that came in the YouTube era, our salvation is nearer than it seems. So with that, I'm going to give all and the ones of you coming in, even at the 11th hour, man, consider yourself blessed, all right? That's coming in these days, and the brothers that's going to see the chariots wake up and believe, you're all blessed, man. You're all of the elect, and we all going to get the same penny. So with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakodash. That belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom and stay strong, brothers.